fate of this city is a telling lesson on how uncertainty about water can affect politics. If the sea level rises as fast as some people predict, Venice will soon drown in the very lagoon that gave birth to it. In a control room in the center of the city, water conditions are monitored non-stop. When parts of central Venice are in danger of being flooded, the alarm goes. It is very disturbing to walk on these catwalks past Venice's old and beautiful buildings. This is St. Mark's Square in the very heart of the city. The square is underwater 10 times more often now than 100 years ago. At the turn of the century, the Italian government issued a warning that climate change would lead to the city being totally covered by water by 2050 unless something drastic was done. The Venetians have always struggled with water and with the consequences of their measures to manage it. The city and the lagoon it is built on were formed by the Adriatic and the 3 large rivers flowing into it. Waves and river silt built up hundreds of tiny islands where people eventually settled. In the 14th century, the rivers were being diverted outside the city to reduce the danger of flooding and to keep the water level in the lagoon down. In the 1980s, to stop the sinking of the city, the pumping up of groundwater was banned. In this perspective, the current challenges are simply variations on the familiar theme of water-city relations. Now, the problem is the rising sea level. Silvio Berlusconi's government initiated a radical project to save the city. Full of technological optimism, they called it Project Moses. The modern Moses will also divide the waters. Engineers will determine how. Three river mouths separate the lagoon from the sea and protect the city from the Adriatic. Twice a day, tide water cleans the lagoon. This makes it impossible simply to shut out the sea. Answer was a sort of swing gate. 79 undersea gates on the lagoon bed will prevent the high tides from entering the city.